Namaste everyone. In today's video, we're going to focus on Muni Patanjali's Yoga Sutra 4.2. Now in this particular Yoga Sutra, Muni Patanjali is helping us to understand what is required in order for the Yoga Sadhak to exhaust his or her karmashaya and move out of the cycle of birth and death. Now, as we're all aware, each of us has a certain amount of karmas to extinguish before we can travel forward and completely move from this realm to the next. And therefore, in this particular sutra, the Yoga Sadhak is using a particular technique to kind of exhaust these karmashayas and the karmic sanskaras that are present to then move over to the highest stage of the yogic sadhana. So let's take a good look at this sutra, break it up word by word, and understand what is this technique that the Yoga Sadhak uses to actually move towards and out of the realm of Prakriti. So the sutra itself goes, Jatyantara parinamaf prakritya purat. Alright, so this is the sutra itself. Now let's start breaking it up word by word to understand what each of the words stand for and then arrive at the meaning of the sutra. So the first word that we have here is Jatyantara, and this is basically explaining to us the difference, right? So Jati and Antara are the two words that form this compound, and basically Antara means difference and Jati can be with reference to a particular birth or a particular species. Alright, so that is Jatyantara. And then coming to the next word, we have Parinama. Now, Parinam is talking about the transformation or the result, but mostly it's talking about a particular transformation. And then coming to the next word, we have Prakriti, which of course is referring to the Prakriti principle from the Sankhya theory between Purusha and Prakriti. And then finally, we have Apura. Now this is a very important word because it indicates abundance. It talks about something being there in unending supply almost. So this is a very important word in this sutra. Now let's think about what is the sutra trying to tell us. So the sutra itself is explaining that Prakriti has an overabundance or a flow of birth and certain species of creation. Now, why does this happen is what we're going to discuss in the explanation. But right now, Prakriti has that overabundance, and therefore the Yoga Sadhak can use that transformation to actually use up and exhaust the karmas or the karmic tendencies in the karmashaya and to completely exhaust them within this lifetime. So that is what the sutra is indicating. But now let's go deeper into the sutra and start understanding how is this possible and what is the sutra exactly entailing. Alright, so the sutra is suggesting over here that the yogi who is practicing this is interested in exhausting up his or her karmic tendencies, sanskaras, and all that is present in the karmashaya so that there are no more karmas left. Now to do this, of course, in one lifetime, one particular body and chitta may not be enough. There may be so many past karmic tendencies and sanskaras which need to be exhausted that there would need to be more expression for those karmas to be carried out. And this expression would require more bodies, more prakritic elements, and more organisms for those karmas to be carried out. Now, essentially, therefore, what is required here is elements of Prakriti which can house or keep that, karmic sanskara, exhaust it, and then allow the yogi to move forward into the next realm. Now, this is again super important because one thing that comes to mind when we think of something like this is, are we saying that the Yoga Sadhak is achieving a godlike status, right? Because what this sounds like is that we're creating completely new beings, assigning them karmas or karmic tendencies, and then having them completed, which to be honest, sounds quite like the creator's role. But here what is being specified is this is not as such the creator's role where we're just, taking up random bodies and creating them from scratch. That's not happening here. Instead, Prakriti, which is an ever-evolving, ever-existing primordial element, is already there. Prakriti or nature is already creating a lot of organisms, a lot of bodies. So there are a lot of physical sort of organisms that are already being birthed and created literally every single second. So a yogi does not need to go and create it from scratch, because firstly, he or she may not be able to create it the way Prakriti does, because Prakriti is just supplying it, you know. Creation, birth and destruction is taking place simultaneously as we speak in all Prakritic elements. And so therefore what the yogi needs to do in this case is not to create anew, but instead to use the available Prakritic material to then insert certain karmic sanskaras and have those get exhausted or used up within his or her lifetime. Now, this is very unique. It might be challenging to wrap our heads around this concept completely, but this is essentially what is being explained through this sutra. Now, one might wonder, right, are we taking away a particular organism, and kind of, you know, how does this entire thing work? So what is being said by a lot of the commentators is Prakriti has such an abundance, like an abundance of material, that it's constantly producing new ones, that it's almost like going to the sea or the river with a spoon or a bucket, taking some water out of it and then going away. It doesn't do anything to the expanse and the immensity of the sea. It's literally like taking away literally 0.000% of the actual expanse of water that the sea is. So it's essentially like that. That's what it's being compared to, that Prakriti is in abundance. It is everywhere. So when you take a tiny amount, like a spoonful or a bucket, to create this organism or this being that is going to house the karmic sanskaras and use them up, it is not a case of taking away from Prakriti. It's literally like the bucket of the ocean, where you're taking some of it for a particular purpose, so that you can move towards the final liberation or the final destination. So this is really important here to understand how this is happening, and how the Yog Sadhak has so much of an ability now to actually make something like this come his way, control that organism or that element of Prakriti, and then kind of, you know, have those karmic tendencies be housed in the body and chitta complex, so that those sanskaras can be used up and the Yog Sadhak can extinguish all of them within this lifetime. So that is what is being suggested through the Sutra 4.2. And in future sutras, we're going to understand even deeper more about this concept. It's just as fascinating to me as it is to you. And the first time I studied it, I as well was astounded by the possibilities, by what is really possible for a Yog Sadhak who enters into the realm of Kaivalya. It is such a fascinating and interesting subject to study. And the more you go into it, the more you realize just how much there is to this entire practice and process. So I hope you found this video informative and valuable. If you have, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Drop your comments in the comment section below. Let us know what you thought. And also share this video with your friends and family, especially those that are studying the Yoga Sutras or Yoga philosophy. Along with that, do not forget to subscribe to our channel, because we release new videos every single week and we cannot wait to see you back here. Apart from that, if you're interested in studying with us, please find the links in the description to attend our classes, courses or workshops, and we cannot wait to see you in one of those. Until then, take care, keep practicing, and we can't wait to see you really soon. Namaste.